mean, having somebody with a director brain on set could make it more difficult, but it can also make it much easier. And in this case, it made it much easier because he knows what it is, and he understood the action. He understands the shots. He knows where to stand, what to do, how to move.
So, hi, Charlotte.
Hi.
We've spoken many times, but we'll do it in English this time, so the viewers can understand us more easily. I've obviously seen all three of these episodes, and yours is the second one. I really must say that I really enjoyed quite a few shots of your episode in particular. Like there is a certain shot when you can see the reflection of a building on a table. It looks beautiful. So apart from those kind of things, what kind of drew you to this world in particular? What made you want to do this show?
Well, I was always a big fan of John Wick because
that helps.
Yeah, that helps. So I'd watched all the films and followed them, and but when I got this offer, I had seen the first three films. I saw the fourth one later, which I loved, actually, the first one. And funny enough, I was just remembering that just earlier when I was talking in the previous interview, my very first film I worked on in my career as an assistant editor was actually Keanu Reeves' very first film that he acted in. I was an assistant editor, and Keanu Reeves and Dennis Hopper were in it's called River's Edge. And so I remembered him. So I always loved Keanu Reeves too. So obviously, so I had followed that. And then when I got the offer to do this, I thought it was just very exciting to be part of the franchise. Very honored to because I thought it was something very exciting to do and something very different. Because by then, I had done obviously some Lord of the Rings, and I had done Shogun, which was set in the 16th century. So it was suddenly something much more modern, much edgier, much darker, much different, very different. So that was also one of the reasons I was drawn to it. And then it was also the fact that it was set in New York in the 70s. New York is a very cinematic city. It has an incredible scope. So I knew that would add a lot of visuals to that. And I love New York in general. And the 70s
doing
was
a 70 version of it too.
Yeah, it was incredible. So with the garbage strikes and everything. So that was exciting. And so there was a lot of elements that came one after the other and made it very exciting to work on. And then I had a great crew. I had the production designer, Drew, with whom I had done The Man in the High Castle. He was on it. So he's great. And he created great sets. And then we had a very Scandinavian camera crew, because we had a Norwegian DP and I had a Danish steady camera. So there was that was also fun.
Yeah. And you also have Mel Gibson on the show.
And then the cast.
Yeah, exactly. So I know we've spoken about that before, you and me. But now when I've actually seen the scenes he's in that you directed, we obviously can't spoil what happens, but there are some brutal scenes. We can leave it at that. And he's done some brutal movies in the past himself as a director. So I was wondering if there is anything that makes it easier to direct him having that extra director brain as well in that sort of scenes.
So
how was your back and forth on those days?
I mean, having somebody with a director brain on set could make it more difficult, but it can also make it much easier. And in this case, it made it much easier because he knows what it is, and he understood the action. He understands the shots. He knows where to stand, what to do, how to move. And he's also, there were some very young actors. The actor who played Sharon was a very talented young actor, but he wasn't very experienced. So Mel was actually very, very generous and very helpful with them. And because it's pretty impressive to do your first scene with Mel Gibson when you arrive.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned Shogun and the Rings of Power as well. I've been waiting a long time for Shogun, as you know.
It's coming soon.
I know it's confirmed for 2024 now, at least. So,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
on the horizon. But you've also just recently finished shooting the second season of Rings
Yeah.
of Power. So how has it been to kind of having all these projects in the air at the same time, so to say?
Yeah, it's exciting, except that it's hard to jump from one to the other to talk about one and then the other. I have to remember exactly because it was quite a while ago when I shot this one, the Continental. It was before the second season of Rings of Power. A
Yeah.
lot has happened since, but no, it's exciting, and I love the fact that, as I think we've spoken before, is to go from one style to another, and not always stay in the same sets and same. I mean, to be able to change era, to be able to change style, to work with different people. You never stop learning, and it's extremely educational to just keep doing it and figuring it out. And because you keep evolving, your style evolves, it makes you sort of stay on your toes and figure stuff out. So it's exciting.
So before we're done at this with this interview, I just wanted to know what kind of like scenes or stuff from the Continental that you've been most wanting people to see.
I think it's
parts
really
of the
the whole
episode.
season. It's hard because I mean, they are independent films, but they're also very connected. And I'm very, I mean, mine was really about continuing the emotional journey of the actor and setting up the big explosion that is in episode 3, obviously. But I find I mean, I think the music is something incredibly important in the
Yeah,
Continental. The songs from the 70s, and I think that adds a lot of flavor to it. It's the sets, it's the scope. It's Paul's cinematography that's absolutely beautiful, and a lot of fantastic ensemble casts, because it's not only about Mel Gibson, it's about a lot. I mean, incredible cast, and the women's parts I think were great because they are tough women, they are badass, they kick ass, and
yeah.
they're fun.
I love the scenes with Jessica.
Yeah, she's so
had,
great. Jessica
yeah,
on the truck, and Yen too. I mean, she's
of
just
course. Yeah.
emotional. Yeah, and it's funny the actor that she's with in the beginning that puts on the vest on her. He's a very famous action star actually in Vietnam.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so he came in to do that. So no, so it has. I mean, the woman there, and I love the cop, the KD, her part also, and I think that all the women are very strong, and that was fun, and that was actually I'm not responsible for that casting. They did that before I arrived, but I think it was cast really well.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I'm eagerly awaiting for the rest of the people out there to see these 3 episodes. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot for agreeing to speak with me again, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we will be speaking about the coming season of Rings of Power and Shogun in the future.
I'm sure. Don't hesitate to be in touch or text. We're going.
Yeah,
I
I'll
couldn't
do
talk
that.
to you last time. It was just so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.